Hi BookTube, Thea here, and for today's video I want to do my January wrap-up. So this month I have read 2 books completed and I'm finishing up my 3rd book. I plan on finishing it either tonight or tomorrow, and then that way it'll be done before February, so we'll just go ahead and get right into it. The first book that I read, I actually started this book in December, but about halfway through made it into January, so I'm going to count it towards my January read, and that is The Ocean at the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I actually really enjoyed this book a lot. It's the second book that I've read by Neil Gaiman, the first being Stardust, and I've actually read the first Sandman volume, the graphic novel. I'm surprised that it's taken me this long to get into Neil Gaiman. I don't know why it took me so long. I love his writing style. The story is just fantastic, and I love his writing style. It's just very different from anything else I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it. I actually gave this book 5 stars, and I can't wait to read some of his other works and fall in love with him even more. The second book is called Call Me Princess by Sarah Bladell. I actually picked this book up to fulfill one of the books for the Pop Sugar 2016 Reading Challenge. It's a murder mystery that takes place in Copenhagen, and the main character is a detective named Louise, and she is kind of in charge of finding who he's wouldn't really say murderer. Well, he is a murderer because he murdered one of the 3 girls that was raped, because he's a serial rapist that finds his victims on Copenhagen's #1 dating site. And one of the girls dies from strangulation. I did not enjoy this book at all. It was very tough for me to get through. It's not a very big book. It's only 300 pages. The writing style was just not something I enjoyed. I didn't like how she portrayed her characters. I didn't like the personality of the main character. I later found out after I finished this that this is her first book that was translated from Danish to English, so that might kind of have an effect on the pacing and the wording of this book. But I just personally did not enjoy it. I gave it 2 stars. If anyone out there has read this book or anything else by this author, please let me know in the comments below if it's just me, if it's, if this book, is enjoyed or liked by others, if you've read any other works, and if they read kind of the same, because I'm interested. I want to give her another chance. The last book, which I'm going to go ahead and finish in the next day or 2, is Disarm, the complete novel by June Gray. I've actually seen this on a couple people's book hauls. I know I've seen it on the Bookish Gal and Booktopia. I think I've seen it on a couple other people's as well. But it sounded really interesting when I heard her talk about it on the Bookish, when I heard Tasha talk about it on the Bookish Gal. Ooh, excuse me. So I decided to pick it up and give it a read. What it is the main girl, she's 26, her name is Elsie, and she falls in love with her brother's best friend. Her brother dies in Afghanistan after a deployment, and so they kind of put their love on hold because he kind of becomes a surrogate brother to her. And they spend, months grieving, and they finally decide to be together one night after, this really kind of emotional scene. So, and throughout the book, it deals with that relationship. He goes off on a 6-month deployment, and, how when he comes back, he's changed. And LZ is not too sure how to deal with that. It deals with very serious things like PTSD, but it also is very cute, very romantic. It has some very romantic scenes, some very sweet scenes. I have cried over this book, bawled. It's made me laugh. It's made me cry. It's also very erotic. There's some very erotic scenes, and the way she writes them is just amazing. I'm surprised. I'm like, why have I, not discovered this till now? So I definitely recommend this. So far, it is a 5-star read for me, this book has hit me pretty hard because my boyfriend is going to be joining the Air Force. So I feel like this book maybe has hit me more than maybe a few other people who have read it. But I definitely see a lot of myself in this book. Not necessarily, falling in love with my brother's boyfriend, but like the military life and being in love with someone who is thousands of miles away for a long amount of time, and that risk of them being different when he comes back. So this book has definitely hit me really hard. I'm really interested to see how it's going to end. I know apparently there is a sequel, which I'm super excited to read. So it obviously has to end good or really, really bad. So also leave me a note in the comments if you've read this, if you've liked it, if you've read any of her other works. I'm really excited to start following her and picking up some of her other reads. So that's the 3 that I've read this month. Please leave any comments below any of these 3 books, anything about the authors, if you've enjoyed them, don't enjoy them, never heard of them, want to know more about this book. I will be posting a review very soon, and I can't wait for my next reads. I will have all the links to my social stuff, and I'll see you guys later.